and welcome to our press conference following the 33rd Advisory Board meeting of EUBAM. I'm happy to see you here, and I want to say special thanks to the Ukrainian journalists who decided to travel from Odessa to Chisinau to join us today. But thank you, all of you, for being with us. I will mention first that our press conference, and as mentioned in the advisory, in the media advisory, will be live streamed on our Facebook page. And I will start by introducing the panel participating today in the meeting. So the European Union Ambassador to the Republic of Moldova, His Excellency Peter Mihalko, Ambassador at Large within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and European Integration of the Republic of Moldova, His Excellency Ion Stavila, Acting Director of the European Union and NATO Directorate within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Mr. Sergei Sayenko, and our Head of Mission, Mr. Slavomir Pihor. Now, His Excellency Mr. Peter Mihalko will present you the summary of the meeting we had today. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. I would like to thank representatives of the mass media who came today for our press conference that is following the 33rd EUBAM Advisory Board meeting. This Advisory Board meeting marked once again the important role of the EUBAM mission that the mission plays in support of the cooperation of our partners, the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine, on their common border. During the meeting, we had opportunity to hear the evaluation of the cooperation and progress made on the three pillar objectives of the current mandate of the EUBAM mission. As you know, these objectives are support to the implementation of the integrated border management, support to fight against transborder crime, and the support to the Transnistrian settlement process. I would like to thank at this occasion to General Slavomir Pihor and personnel of the EUBAM mission for the work done on the progress achieved on all these three objectives, and for the support that they provided to the partner services of both the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine. And I also want to thank our partners, the services from both countries, the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine, for their support to the mission and for the intensive work and progress achieved on the joint objectives that are basis of the cooperation on the common border, and that are aiming to establish the European standard of quality at the common border between the two countries. We had a very constructive discussion today and touched upon important points. In the framework of integrated border management issue, there was a discussion on the joint border control concept and its implementation. As you know, that in recent past we saw opening of jointly operating border crossing point Palanca, Mayaki, Udobne, that there is also ongoing cooperation in this regard in Kuchurgan, Pervomaisk, and there are of course plans of further continuation. Also, I want to underline the contribution of the mission to the intensification of cooperation with the agencies of the partner countries and with EU agencies and the agencies of EU member states on the second pillar, important issues related to the fight against transborder crime. And also very valuable contribution of experts of EUBAM when it comes to technical issues that are related to the work of the working groups that are active in the context of Transnistrian conflict settlement that also contribute to finding solutions to some long-term issues that need to be solved. With this, I think that we can respond also to your questions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Maybe the other members of the panel would like to address you a few words. And Mr. Stavila, the ambassador of Large.
Спасибо большое. Я полностью разделяю ту оценку нашего сегодняшнего заседания, который дал амбассадор Петр Михалко. Я подтверждаю, что в рамках сегодняшнего заседания состоялись очень обстоятельные дискуссии по всем вопросам нашей совместной повестки дня. Молдавская делегация подтвердила свою заинтересованность и готовность продолжить сотрудничество в рамках этого успешного проекта. Мы отметили положительные достижения, все, что было сделано до сих пор в рамках этого проекта, наметили приоритетные задачи на будущее. Хочу отметить очень важную предпосылку для дальнейшего нашего успешного взаимодействия трехстороннего молдавского, украинского и европейского сотрудничества, а именно наше общее стремление с Украиной продолжить наше развитие по пути европейской интеграции. И мы очень благодарны нашим европейским коллегам, партнерам за ту поддержку, которую они нам оказывают в внедрении тех европейских стандартов и норм развития взаимодействия на границе, развития интегрированного менеджмента наших границ. Мы подтвердили нашу заинтересованность особенно в развитии сотрудничества в направлении совместного улучшения и углубления нашего совместного контроля на границах. Мы заинтересованы в расширении этого контроля на других пунктах пропуска, и мы очень рады, что встретили такое положительное отношение, поддержку со стороны наших украинских коллег. Мы будем рады продолжить наше сотрудничество, и хочу пожелать всем нам успешной работы в этом направлении.
Thank you very much. And now I'll pass the floor to Mr. Sergei Sayenko, representing the Ukrainian delegation.
Actually, the importance of this meeting is to talk about our results and to discuss possibilities for the future. What we are doing during our meeting, during our advisory board, is how we can simplify life for our citizens, how we can encourage our small and medium enterprises to talk, to implement socio-economic projects in bilateral relations. Having two DCFTA agreements, we are trying to respond to the needs to our citizens, our economies, our societies, and actually the cross-border cooperation, border management, and contribution to increase our cooperation through the border. We welcome the efforts of the EUBAM to keep this dialogue alive and to demonstrate our efficient result to the public, to the society, and to provide more opportunities for our citizens to use opportunities offered by our bilateral relations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Slavomir Pihor, the head of EUBAM, will address you a few words.
Thank you. We are actually very, very happy that we have such good cooperation with our partners. This is a continuous cooperation and support, and we see the appetite for receiving this assistance and progress the border management towards its modernization. So I think that it's very good that both countries are progressing on this European path, and this is, bringing more understanding about the EU standards and about the ultimate goals for what we are working for. So that this is the border security, this is the legitimate, smooth passage the borders for travelers, and also more secure borders. And I think that the mission is also that this is, this European framework and commitment from both countries giving us very good opportunity and basis for developing this cooperation and progressing on this border management. And I think that throughout all those years, we witnessed that the cooperation, starting from this legal foundation, so that these two countries developed very, very good and solid foundation for cooperation on border management. So I'll mention that, that 2017, so not 2 years ago, was signed the agreement on joint border control, entered into force in 2018. So this is, very modern framework for developing wholly count this cooperation. And the role of EUBAM and our partners now is to transform this, these political goals and objectives into the reality. And we witness this, and this is happening actually every time. So we witness, as it was mentioned by my predecessors, that the bordermen in Palanca border crossing point, this is jointly operated border crossing point. This is the reference for us for the future border crossing points. So this is not only one border crossing point, but because we will very soon, there is more ongoing modernizations with EU contribution, financial contribution into other border crossing points. In Giurgiulești, so this is quite important border crossing point in the southern part of the Moldova. It's also the modernization of Kuchurgan. So there is an investment, ongoing modernization, and in the spring we will witness, rolling out this joint control, which is bringing more trust, more cooperation, and finally more security. So we are very proud that we are a part of this ambitious project, and we can actively support our country, partner countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are ready to take your questions. So please introduce yourself and the media company you represent.
Можно поподробнее остановиться на планах, когда будут реализованы дополнительные пункты пропуска совместные?
I will speak on behalf of two partners because there are representatives for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and probably they are not very much involved in this technical work. But I think that, there is very important that both countries have this action plan on IBM strategy, Moldova and Ukraine, and there is a clear commitment, to progress on this joint control. So I mentioned already Palanca, which was opened in December 2017, then for cargo in February 2018. But we have now, two new border crossing points. The reconstruction, the final reconstruction, modernization of these crossing points in Giurgiulești will be finished in the end of January. So we can expect that we'll have two additional points where this full-fledged control will be carried out. You should have in mind that Palanca is located on the Moldovan territory, And now we will have two border crossing points which will be located on the Ukraine territory. So this is the Reni border crossing point is located on Ukraine side, and Kuchurgan also on Ukraine side. So there are two concrete steps to be taken in early spring, latest time in early spring, that we'll have these two border crossing points prepared for joint operations, because they are operating already jointly, but there is not full-fledged control due to some construction constraints. So this is the two next steps. And then another issue is that also our partners together with us, they explored opportunities for rolling out to the further border crossing points. But this is the question that we should, we had debates already, initial debates with partners, which border crossing points are suitable, because, we have already some places where these crossing points can be launched because their infrastructure is suitable, but also in some places we will need to amend the infrastructure. So how we will proceed, we have already, there is a roadmap prepared by all four border agencies, and according to this roadmap we will proceed to further rolling out this joint control. So this is not the last point, this is only, I would say, beginning.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Present here with us. Oh, okay. Please.
Mă numesc Livia Lupașcu, sunt reporter compania publică Teleradio Moldova. Am așa o întrebare. Puteți să ne spuneți ce s-a schimbat în ultimii 2 ani în vederea, când e vorba de contrabandă cu mărfuri, pentru că vrem să știm niște rezultate în ultimii 2 ani datorită acestor modernizări.
Poate eu o să spun câteva cuvinte la început.
Da, vă rog.
Eu aș vrea să spun că lupta împotriva contrabandei este foarte important punct care este legat și de voință politică, dar și de insistența ceea ce privește funcționarea serviciilor respective. În această privință, misiunea EUBAM a avut contribuție foarte importantă pentru funcționarea serviciilor partenere și mă bucur că am văzut la partea serviciilor partenere în ultimul timp dezvoltare foarte bună în această privință și rezultatele. Ceea ce știm noi, dar eu pot să spun numai în cadrul mandatului meu ceea ce privește Republica Moldova, în perioada ultimelor luni au fost înregistrate mari progrese în oprirea schemelor de contrabandă și acest trend, această tendință trebuie să continuă. Asta este în interesul Republicii Moldova și tuturor partenerilor. Cu mai multe detalii, eu să dau cuvântul domnului Pihor.
That what is new in terms of fighting against smuggling, as I said, we have a different dimension of this scheme, of this process, so that we are fighting against smuggling. First of all, we are encouraging our partners, to have a deterrent and solid legal framework to effectively, to be deterrent against the smuggling. And I must say that, certain already loopholes or systems which were designed were which were facilitating certain illegal activities. We witnessed the commitment of the government in the Republic of Moldova in June, July, in July where this new framework, the customs code and fiscal code was amended, and duty-free shops were, the certain legislative steps were taken, to close these loopholes in the legislative framework, because the duty-free operations were used for illegitimate activities. So I think that this legal framework, this is very good step, and that there is to have a solid framework, legal framework, and deterrent framework. And this is the same, in Ukraine also. We actually, within our meeting, the conclusions of today's advisory board meeting resonated, for a need to have a deterrent penalization system for accessible goods smuggling. And this is already, there is a political will in Ukraine to penalize smuggling accessible goods, and there is a registered draft law in Rada. So I think this is the level of, I would say, policy, and there are very good, prospects to make this more effective. The second, today we also discussed during our board meeting, the situation at the border, about the vulnerabilities of the border. What are the vulnerabilities? Where we should, improve the border infrastructure? Where we should, invest more into the equipment? This is very, very important, and this is happening. Those investments for jointly operated border crossing points are bringing, the technology and facilities for effectively addressing the smuggling. So this is the second, equipment, facilities, and the third is the integrity. And I think in both countries the integrity is an issue. And we see also the commitment in Ukraine and in Moldova, to address the integrity issue. So you should also address the integrity. You should have a high integrity officer at the border. So this is a very complex issue, and in all these dimensions, we are working together with our partners to make it so that to decrease the vulnerability for smuggling at the common Moldovan-Ukraine border. The ambassador is, telling me that I should say also that, that effective fight against smuggling require also consolidated and concerted efforts from all border agencies. And EUBAM is a kind of interface in accelerating this cooperation, and I would give you some latest example of very successful joint border control operation, Scorpio. This was operation on fighting against cigarette smuggling. So we registered 115 cases of seizures during this operation, which resulted with over 50 million of seized cigarettes. So, because we involve also the neighboring EU member states, Ukraine, Moldova, neighboring EU neighboring countries, and also the European agencies, which have very good informational resources, like Europol and Olaf. And that's why this is also bringing more trust, more cooperation, and is bringing more effectiveness to the fighting against smuggling.
Thank you very much. Do you have any other questions? So with this, I want to thank you once again for being here with us today at the press conference following the 33rd Advisory Board meeting of EUBAM, and I wish you a very nice day. Thank you very much.